All right, guys, we've done a number of stories recently about how Michael Moore is warning Joe Biden. Well, he's doing it again. Michael Moore warns Biden Israel support will make him Hillary 2.0. Quote, that's what's going to happen. Damn. That's a scathing-ass argument. Michael Moore warned President Joe Biden that he'll hand a victory to Donald Trump in November if he continues to support Israel's strikes on Gaza. On his Rumble podcast, Moore predicted the next presidential election will mirror Trump's victory over Hillary Clinton in 2016 if Biden does not demand a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. The filmmaker argued that Biden will end up losing battleground states like Michigan by a slim margin because voters upset with his support of Israel will stay home. Quote, President Biden, you could end this now. You know it's wrong. I know you know it's wrong. I know I sound like a broken record, and I know you're going to lose this election in part because too many people are going to stay home. They're not going to vote for Trump. They're not going to switch their vote from Trump to you. No. That is not how this is going to play out. As what happened with Hillary in Michigan, she lost by 2 votes per precinct. 2 for the whole state. 2. And that's what's going to happen to you. I can't stress this enough. The reason why this is so important is that Michael Moore has had an immaculate record with predictions in recent times. He was warning and screaming from the rooftops in 2016 that Trump was going to win. This was at a time when the entire liberal media, the entire establishment media was like laughing that out of the room. They were super convinced Hillary has this in the baggington. They thought Hillary with over 300 electoral votes, they thought it wouldn't even be close. They were wrong. Michael Moore was warning them, and he was laughed at. I think Michael Moore predicted Biden would win in 2020. Michael Moore predicted that in these most recent midterm elections, when everybody and their mother, except me, was saying, red wave, red wave, red wave, Michael Moore was like, ain't gonna be no fucking red wave, bro. Well, now that same Michael Moore, who was right every step of the way, is like, you're going to lose, and you're going to be Hillary 2.0. Now, by the way, you might say at this late date, like, well, even if Biden stops aiding and abetting the genocide in Gaza, isn't the damage already done, right? Like, isn't it, even if he switches now, it's like you already aided and abetted a genocide, so these people are just not going to vote for you. Well, yes and no. The reality is that, I think it was CNN or MSNBC, they had done like a focus group on this for the people who voted uncommitted. And about half of them said at the time, yeah, he can get my vote if he stops aiding and abetting the genocide. And the other half said, no, I'm never going to vote for him. So you could say it might still be you gain half of them, you lose half of them. Or maybe we're at the point now where he only gains 35% or 40% of them if he changes course. Either way, it's the right thing to do from a moral perspective and from an ethical perspective, but also from a politics perspective. Because the fact of the matter is you'd rather have 35% or 40% of the people that you lost than have none of them, right? So he should absolutely positively do that. And people should really heed this warning because, again, the guy has a spot-on record in recent history. So they go on here. In 2016, Trump won Michigan with just over 10,000 more votes than Clinton. Michigan is one of the multiple battleground states where critics of Israel's strikes, which have led to thousands of civilian deaths inside of Gaza, have held protests where they vote uncommitted in Democratic primaries. The calls drew more than 100,000 in support in Michigan. Moore argued Biden is risking losing young voters who largely do not support Israel's efforts. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the Gaza strikes will not cease until Hamas is completely eliminated. The terror group, known for using civilians as human shields, attacked Israel on October 7th, killing more than 1,000 and kidnapping hundreds more. There has been increased pressure on Israel following 7 aid workers being killed in a strike this month. They killed the 7 aid workers. I don't know who wrote this article, but they're also doing the subtle bias thing here. They don't support it, Moore said about young liberals in the war, and they don't support you, and now they're sick of you, sick of what you've been doing, and you can't see it. He called for reparations for Gaza to help in rebuilding after a ceasefire. Moore called Netanyahu and the Israeli government the enemy of all of us who believe in peace and justice. The director urged Biden to be a politician motivated not to lose in November. Quote, be a politician for once. What does a politician want most? To get reelected, he said. Why are you guaranteeing possibly losing the election and Trump being back in the White House? What is fricking wrong with you? The guy who's been right about everything up to this point is saying you will be Hillary 2.0 unless you change course. They really need to listen to that warning. I don't know, man. They're up in their ivory tower. They don't have their finger on the pulse. It's a scary thought to think they won't do the right thing, but that's, at this late date, it does feel like they're not going to do the right thing. And that's devastating, first and foremost, for the victims in Gaza. You know, it's just, you can't look at that and not lose hope. 36,000 civilians dead, 15,000 kids, 9,000 women. And we're screaming it from the rooftops for them to stop, and it's just hitting a fucking brick wall. So Michael Moore's point is, look, put aside all that stuff. Just from a raw politics perspective, if you want to fucking win, stop doing it. Just stop doing it right now. Will he listen? Your guess is as good as mine. I guess we'll find out. But unfortunately, I think these words from Michael Moore are wise, and the warning should be heeded. All right, guys, that's the show. I love you all very much. You know the drill. Everybody do me a favor. Please click like. Please click subscribe. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. You can leave a comment. And thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. Thank you to everybody who tips on YouTube with the thanks button. The link is below, by the way, if you want to support the show on Patreon. That's always deeply, deeply appreciated. Never talk to an advertiser. You guys keep me honest. You guys fund us from the ground up. All right. Love y'all. Everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.